So we will
Okay.
be reading your comments as soon as, hopefully as soon as we see it. Please unmute your microphone as soon as your name is called. Introduce your name, your organization, school or location, then state your question. Be very brief, and if you are having a feedback or anything in additional, please make it short and concise. And lastly, we will take as many questions as time permits on a first come, first served basis. And for those who are watching on our live stream on Facebook, we will also be checking out your questions online.
Right. So now we're ready to take the questions. Who will be first? I don't see a raised
I
hand.
think there's a question from UNAP Professor Alice A. Lucas earlier. This is about the methane gas during composting. She's asking, if is the methane gas during composting dangerous?
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you so much for reading my question.
Yes po.
Yes, that's a good
I don't know
question.
who from the speakers can either answer that. And I think I think there could be an advantage and disadvantages for the said methane gas.
Okay, let's ask our resource speakers who can answer that. Who wants to answer that? Anyone?
Hi.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think, yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
good. About the
Hi.
urban gardening thing and
Yes
stuff.
po. Good
Yes. Go
afternoon.
ahead.
Thank you for that question. There is what we call compost management, no? Proper compost management. There are kasi two kinds of composting, anaerobic and aerobic. Now, in our garden, what we do is we try to limit the existence we try to limit the methane producing bacteria by adding a lot of carbon. And also we have this method of aerating it and also proper moisture management of compost. Um, in the landfills, they have high they produce methane because uh, of the because of there are a lot of methane producing bacteria there. So there is composting actually is a very it's simple and yet complex, no? That's why the ratio of carbon to nitrogen is very important for you to control the production of methane because in composting there are a lot of bacteria there are a lot of bacterial activity going on. So in our the our method of composting, we put a lot of carbon, we aerate so that we will be able to um, um, take down the methane producing bacteria. So I hope I answered the question. Thank you po.
I have a follow-up question to that. Is it true that since it produces methane gas, that the advantage is that you can make use of it as a fuel,
Yes.
Yes,
right?
ma'am. Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Yes. May I interject? Yes, because
Go ahead. Go ahead.
because methane is really dangerous if it's not captured. No, it's more destructive than carbon actually. How many times more? No, so but uh, but there is such a thing as methane capture dun sa mga community compost pits. I think it's great to have community compost pits because there are more people to manage it, di ba? They capture the methane and use it as fuel, no, for cooking, for kung ano-ano. So, yun, pwede yun.
There's a,
Is it okay if I add something?
go ahead. Go ahead.
There's one good thing happening right now in Florida Blanca. There is a new facility in Florida Blanca. It's a landfill, and it just opened last year. I met with the operators, and the good thing about this landfill is this is a Malaysian operated landfill, and beside the landfill they will be opening up an energy. No, they will put up it's like an energy producing landfill and the energy will come from the methane. So it's a work in progress right now, and there's hope for that. There's hope for that.
But I have a question, Angeline. Landfills are not supposed to take in biodegradables. So where will the methane come from?
Yes, ma'am. We kasi 'di ba in 9003 we have what we call the residuals. The residuals we cannot hindi natin maiwasan eh. The
Not
residuals will always
biodegradable ang residuals?
not really, ma'am, actually. That's exactly the problem that we have right now, no? The implementation of 9003.
Yeah.
In reality, that's the reason why they are planning to put up a part of their program is they will put up energy and facility that will get energy from the methane, because in reality it's hard to implement the RA 9003.
Yes.
Um, yes, and um, what they where they will get that are actually from the residuals.
Okay. I have to
May
research
I
that
Very
also
good,
further
very good.
because
So,
I know methane comes from biodegradables. Okay,
yeah.
we have a question from
Marim, may I
Seren.
interject
Dr. G,
also?
go ahead.
Yeah. May I also
Um,
yeah. The existing formerly dump sites had a lot of biodegradables.
Yes.
So that can be a rich source of methane right now.
Yes.
But I was also interviewing someone who, an LGU person who is operating their landfill in a certain, in their locality. And they said, as Angeline says, it's really hard to take out the biodegradable from the residual. Somehow, 10% of the garbage or the waste that should just be residuals, merong kasamang biodegradables. So the most they can do is to use the methane.
Okay.
Yeah. Yun
Okay,
lang.
got
Thank
that.
you.
Add ko lang siguro dito yung comment from Ma'am Carmelita Hansel because her microphone is not working. Sabi niya, I would like to make a comment that methane would be mainly produced during anaerobic composting or like in biogas digesters. But in the case of common garden composting, which is mainly aerobic, not much methane is produced.
Yeah, that's true.
Meron din
Yes.
tinatawag na bokashi gardening, di ba? For the kitchen waste and everything. Kasi ako nag-gardenin ako dito sa bahay and we're not actually throwing out any organic or waste palabas eh. Kaya lang ang problema talaga ng 9003 kahit mag-segregate ka, pagdating ng basurero, tinatapon nila sa basama. Sabi ko, oh my
Nagsasama-sama.
God, what are you doing? Sabi niya, wag
Anyway,
ka
let's take
makialam,
a
ganito
question
to.
na. Let's take a question na kasi si
Okay, go ahead.
Rana
Si
kanina pa
Mila, I think
naka-raise ang
Mila is
hand.
raising her hand.
Yes, go ahead, Mila.
Yeah, for Angeline, although Dr. Galang said it already, but the diapers coming from the hospitals and from those households with babies, I think they are considered residual, and most people do not really separate the the biodegradable. Siyempre, yung cotton doon. So I think that's the source of the
Yeah.
methane that
Oh,
are
yeah.
thrown together with the residuals. Now, my question is for Professor Martinez regarding the GHG accounting or inventory in their university. I really presume that you did the calculation manually, right? Based on your presentation with all the formula that you have presented and you have somehow developed to really measure the emissions. Now, my question is, are you developing a calculator to facilitate the computation? Because I think in one of our meetings regarding a project, then you were saying that you were developing one. And I would like to know the progress of this, if ever you are really into it. And is it really for general use or for a particular group of users only?
Um,
Thank you.
so hello po. So thank you for that question. For this particular study po na presented, it was done manually and intended po siya sa university namin. But after po doing this project, we did another project wherein in-optimize po namin yung toolkit for GHG emissions accounting naman on businesses. So actually, did we developed a toolkit and ginamit po namin siya sa 3 businesses here in Bataan. So we cannot just, kaso nga lang hindi namin pwedeng i-present yung result nila since part of their privacy yon. So we already have that toolkit. And right now, we're now testing our toolkit sa provincial government naman namin. So yung Capitol building namin dito sa Bataan, we are in talks with them para magamit namin yung toolkit in evaluating naman their GHG emissions. So from its initial use sa university, we're optimizing the toolkit para magamit din siya ng business entities and even government agencies para sa kanilang GHG emissions. And also, right now, since I am in the startup ecosystem, startup building, I'm mentoring one startup where we are developing a website kung saan pwede mong i-access sa website yung toolkit, pwede mo i-compute yung GHG emissions. So, still nasa infancy stage pa yung website. We still need a lot of validation and a lot of optimization na kailangan gawin. So, idea ng website is, you access the website, you create an account, for example, for your business, or for organization, or for your agency, and then you will just input the data. For example, input mo lang yung electricity bill mo for this month regularly, and then i-compute na nung system yung estimated GHG emissions mo. Or you can do mas advanced, which is yung dinascuss kanina, yung equipment audit, wherein may options doon kung saan pwede i-input yung mga equipment mo sa office or sa organization nyo. Then, mag-input ka din ng estimated operation time, then i-compute yung GHG emissions. And dinevelop din namin toolkit, we try to incorporate scope 3 kasi yun yung medyo mahirap, wherein we need the transportation, and ayun sa pinakamahirap din is the waste kasi may emissions din yung waste natin, yung procurement. So yun, medyo wala pa kami sa side na yun. So for scope 3, we're just doing the transportation of people within the organization. So yun po yung efforts namin as of now. We just need siguro more time to validate and optimize yung toolkit para bago po siya ilabas in public.
I think Dr. G has a follow-up question related to that. Dr. G?
Yeah. Ako din after follow-up question.
Okay.
Thank you.
I put it in the chat box. What were the challenges, Dan, that you met when you did your project, from human challenges or technical challenges? Thank you.
Yeah, actually po, ang isang challenge sa amin is the fund kasi we need, for example, to be able to develop a website, we need people who will actually develop the website. Since our background is engineering and calculations, we can do web development. Though we can do very basic, pero hindi siya yung parang pwedeng ilabas in public, security, ganun. So, it's the funding. And also, since we're just doing this part-time this kind of projects, even my previous students and colleagues, we're just doing it part-time. So, if we can we're actually looking for funding na kahit bigyan kami ng 1-year funding to fully develop this system, then we can actually do it para mas full-time kami in doing this kind of work. So, yeah. Funding and people who can work full-time to this project para hindi po siya yung parang ginagawa lang namin siya during our free time.
Thank you.
Okay, Mila has another
Yeah.
basta
Yung
follow-up.
follow-up question ko lang. Kasi, Dan, you mentioned a while back that you made use of data. Of course, we're talking of, I mean, the standards, the EF, that is local. how local is local? Is it the national or you have standards there in Bataan?
For example po, for emission factor, it's international standard, so we cannot change that. So, meron po siyang standard. But for example po sa uh, optimization ng value, for example, sa electricity consumption, instead na electricity consumption lang siya as we read on our bills, pina-factor in po namin yung, for example, for this year, ano yung share ng coal doon sa electricity natin. Ano
Ano
yung
yung
share?
power mix?
Fuel. Yeah, the power mix. We consider the power mix as well as the quality of the fuel. Kasi if we use the international standards, they could use the average lang. Example, average ng uh, lignite and bituminous coal. So parang, but here we try to understand the technology we have dito sa Pilipinas, yung type of fuel na meron tayo, and incorporate it sa calculations para mas close to the true value yung inventory na makukuha.
So, bali, you're using the national standard, the one that is set by DOE for that particular parameter. Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we have a question from Tessa Oliva.
Go ahead, Miss Tessa.
Yes. Anyway, I'd like to thank all our speakers, no? Magaling sila. Si Angeline, hindi pala ang tao ang bida, pero yung microbes sa soil, no? That's a good message. I have a question for Edwina. Yung mangroves natin, kasi with the wildfire that's happening in the US right now, parang I got frustrated kasi we do a lot of tree planting, reforestation, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos pwede palang isang ano lang, mabilis na mawawala yung lahat ng efforts natin. So, I was inspired when you talked about mangroves. Kasi siguro I'd like to know how are they susceptible to fires also? If the forest is on fire, anong mga epekto nito sa mangroves natin? Can they be on fire also? At saka yung if there are strong winds, they can stop it, hindi ba? So this is a good solution actually for an archipelagic country like the Philippines. So we should really push this. So kaya lang tinatanong ko, are they also susceptible to fires?
Thank you. Thank you for your question, ma'am. Okay, first of all, let me qualify. I'm not a forester, and there may be foresters in this group who can give a more technical response to this. But my understanding, first of all, is that the many of the forest fires in the West Coast are largely pine and fir or coniferous trees, and some types of forests, like these coniferous ones, don't actually rot as well as other forests. When the trees die, they stay standing. So in a natural, like if we were only to consider the natural cycle of life, the forest fires are actually not bad for these types of forests, because they help to spur regeneration in those types of forests. Now, again, I'm not a forester, so I'm sure there are foresters out there who can explain that better. Mangroves are generally not as prone to forest fires. They're in or very close to the coastline, or even spend most of their lives, or at least part of their lives, in water, in seawater. So they're very different. They're very sturdy, and also what's the word, resilient trees and environments. So I believe it would the main threat to mangroves would not be forest fires, but cutting for development, clearing for development, for fish ponds, for housing, etc. So that would be your main threat rather than forest fires. Now, to answer the question of whether, mangroves are definitely super And uling, yes, correct, sir. Very correct. Although it's much less now in some areas, I think that you're right. In other areas, would the community fuel needs will still be a threat as well to mangrove forests. And I'm guessing at this stage, those that would mostly be in Palawan. Uh, the Visayas maybe less so. Definitely in the Visayas, the main driver of loss was fish ponds. The which I'm hope we will talk about as well during the main event. The in terms of resilience again and coastal communities and archipelagic countries like ours, mangroves and mangrove or coastal green belts as we call them are our best first line of defense against extreme weather events and storms because they help to dissipate wave and wind energy. So having mangroves will protect the coastline and will protect homes and communities that are based on or located on the coast. So definitely, and again, I I think they are hugely important, and we are trying to, through the work of Dr. Jean and ZSL, trying to help people understand that because in the 80s, 70s and 80s, these environments or ecosystems were really just cleared because people thought they were not very useful. And so a lot of the work now is to quantify their usefulness in terms of the ecosystem services that they provide. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that answer.
Bureau of Investigation or Bureau of Investment?
Bureau of Investigation.
Darkness or brightness?
Lahat tayo natigil dun sa may show. Anyway, thank you, Ma'am Edwina. Let's just
Can we ask the participant to mute?
Yun na
lang. Kaya galing yun.
mute po.
Fighter or lover?
Yeah, who is that?
Love or respect?
Miss Jelly, I think.
Or forget?
Tama
Kaya
ba ako?
muna lahat, ano,
Yes po, yan. Thank you, thank you. I think there's a discussion right here in the chat box about the composting and stuff. From Ma'am Opelia Hassan, who is also working as a lecturer in Oman. Ma'am Opelia, would you like to share your thoughts and question? Hello? Or I can read it. So she's saying she is a lecturer in Oman and currently working on a funded project related to biodegradation of expired household food products. As we have a lot here, I conceptualized this in 2020 and applied for project funding in 2023, which was approved. We are finding it very successful since the degradation is in an open but in a confined area. However, when I tried it in the Philippines, I encountered too much foul smell during decomposition. Could you help me as I really want to apply this in the Philippines? As I think we need to focus on individual, household, domestic production.
That's interesting.
Hi.
So how do we help?
Hi.
You can help.
Is it okay if I answer that, ma'am?
Go ahead, go ahead.
I am not, I did not major in biology, no. But right now, we are doing a lot of experimentation here in the house. That's the same problem we're trying to face, to solve, no. There are lots of bacteria that biodegrade our food waste, no. Lactobacillus, bacillus, like that. One of the best way to to approach that is the Bokashi method. But then again, you said the problem is the temperature in the Philippines. So I think right now for me, actually there are so many researches going on trying to solve that problem. But for me, personally, right now, what works for us is the Bokashi method. We really take advantage of lactobacillus bacteria in breaking that down. The problem with Bokashi, however, is that you cannot put oily foods in that, right? So you again, with even in kitchen scraps, we have to learn how to segregate. We have to remove the oily substances, and we have in Bokashi we only have to put non-oily substances, right? So for me, Bokashi is the best to address your issue.
Thank you, Ma'am Angela. I think I also shared the link for the Bokashi information. Kasi ako, Ma'am Marie, I'm also composting here at home. At isa sa paraan ko, since medyo mahirap nga yung Bokashi, ang ginagawa ko yung ipa. It helps a lot yung parang rice hull to control the
Rice
smell
hulls,
and
oo.
stuff. Oo. So yun yung ginagawa ko. Tapos ini-stack ko siya sa soil for a couple of number of days. Tapos ginagawa ko siyang compost. Kaya matataba yung mga halaman ko rito, yung mga mga basil, pang pesto. So doon sa garden ko nang gagaling.
And those
Anyway,
are the brown materials you are saying, no?
yes.
Oo.
The brown
I have a
materials.
follow-up question also kanina kasi it just came into my mind yung wildfire.
Mhm.
Oh, excuse me for interrupting you.
Sige po, go ahead.
Because of the wildfire, yun nga yung sinasabi ko sa mesa, yun guys, if it is in the landfill, so it's a bigger thing, unlike what we are doing at home lang, di ba? So, it could possibly, parang similar sa wildfire. It's just that yung landfill, hindi siya katulad ng sinasabi kanina may forest, ganyan-ganyan. And yung kanina, I think my question is similar to the one nung sa mangrove, but it's that one is more specific on the mangrove. But mine is in the landfill and related to what is going on in LA regarding the wildfire. So would that be possible if it is a bigger scope?
Who can answer that? Is anyone available to answer her question?
Actually,
Go ahead.
sige, Dr. G.
Well, of course, there's that danger because methane is combustible. It can oxidize, and if it accumulates and somebody throws a cigarette, it can explode. But hopefully not. But as if it dissipates, and dilutes in the atmosphere, perhaps the danger is not great. But it's when it accumulates.
Yeah.
And then there's a spark. That's when it can explode. But so
And with air as well, no?
that's right, yeah. That's why when you hear of spontaneous combustion in places, it could be that.
I think Angeline wanted to say something. Angeline,
I'd like to say
you're
also,
unmuted. Did you
Yes,
want to say anything?
Si Mr. Sayata would like to
na
add something.
if you will notice yung mga landfills, meron silang pipes, hindi ba? To release the methane gas and then they flame it up. Talagang sinusunog para talagang maka-release ng methane gas. But the others, like in Payatas before, they connected it to their stoves.
Wala rin po akong franchise. Never na ako.
Pakimute muna. So in Payatas, what they did was they used the pipes to capture the methane gas and connected it to their stoves para they use it as a gas for cooking. And
Yes.
I've seen this also very popular in India. Yung kanila naman, yung um, mga condominiums or sa mga estudyante na mga babae o mga lalaki, yung mga toilet nila, they goes to a methane digester and then they use it in their cafeteria. So talagang I think it's
That's
managed
what?
to cook the food. Oo. So I really impressed
Fuel.
sa India, ha? And it has seemed to be a natural
Yeah.
practice sa mga ano ba yun yung saan natutulog ang mga estudyante? And dami mga
Dormitories.
dorms. Oh, sa mga dorms ng mga estudyante connected to their cafeteria. So I think it's really in the management of yung ating mga landfills.
Kasi there's too many people also in India and it's harder to manage if you would not use it for combustion and fuel purposes, di ba? Mag-iimbak lang yun doon na mag-iimbak. Anyway, there's also another question from again Ma'am Opelia about how could gardening be done in small households in the Philippines? Kasi usually wala naman tayong mga garden, so paano daw po yun? Small, how could this be done in small households where there is no area for gardening? I think this is directed to Miss Angeline.
Yeah. Right now we have a project here in our community. No, this will this involves condominiums. So that's also the question. Question nila, oy, we want to have a garden. So yun yung approach namin. Let's have a sectoral. It's like a community garden. If not, then you can you use potted plants. Like in our garden, it's a combination of a lot of methods. We use raised beds, we use potted, we use pots, and we plant directly sa soil. So if you do not have if you can use potted, you can plant in plants, no? And if kung wala, it's all the more that we should push for local gardens so that everybody can take part, no? Kasi maraming maraming open na areas sa mga communities. Then let's take advantage of it. If we do not have a space in front of our house, then let's tell the barangay captain, oh, let's open up a garden so that everybody can join in and take their part. The limitation of space should not limit us, no, to grow plants.
That's right.
Thank you.
There are some communities that are doing that. They use yung hindi ginagamit na mga lote, yung mga hindi pa napapatayuan. Yeah. So, that's what they use.
May I interject, Marie?
Go
Follow up
ahead,
for
Mila.
saying, kasi
Sure,
there is already a ruling in HLURB before, no, now DSUD, that any lot in any subdivision or in any area may be used by the homeowners for other purposes. That's parang accepted rule yun. So in our subdivision, all the open is vacant lots supposedly, because it's really hard to maintain. If there are no houses in the vacant lots, we have to trim the grasses every now and then. Parang mas malakas pa yung expenses namin sa gasoline to maintain the vacant lots than the payment they give as part of the homeowners' use. So what we did, we organized the seniors and we also organized the youth. Kasi yung sa subdivision namin, the lot is not that big. And most of the homeowners would utilize the whole area. Parang isip namin yung parang utak semento, puro semento, ganon. So what we did, we we ensure that the vacant lots can be maximized to their full potential. So during the pandemic, we survive out of the produce from the vacant lots. So maganda siya. And then may I also add to the yung methane capture, yung actually those are biodigester systems. Yes, Tessa, parang napaka-advanced nila rin sa India. They have this technology, very simple lang. Parang they use drums. So the farmers can use drums and they put all the manure there. Even I think the human manure. And then they use it. They capture the methane as a source of their fuel for cooking. And even for drying tobaccos ata and some of the agricultural products that need drying. Yun lang. Pero I have actually a question for Edwina, no? Kasi I'm really concerned because the calculator now for GHG emissions inventory is still in progress. They're still developing it. And I think they're now trying to input the forestry sector. I'm just curious if you know something about that, or if the seagrasses and the mangroves are considered as part of that forestry sector in the GHG emissions inventory, or are they just considering the land, yung nasa ano, hindi blue carbon? And if they have set standards already, because in some I saw they're saying that the blue carbon is 4 times that of the forest. And you said a while back about it's 5 times. So I'm not sure because it's changing the information if there's already a standard. Okay, thank you. That's all.
Thank you,
Okay.
Mila.
Do we have an answer? Wala, nawawala yata si ano.
Hello po. Siguro I can share some information about the forestry sector in terms of GHG emissions accounting. So actually, there are two sides po in terms of accounting emissions from forestry. Kasi yung forest, syempre they accumulate biomass, and biomass pag nag-degrade, nag-emit sila ng carbon dioxide and ng methane. So some studies, they include yung amount of biomass and the related GHG emissions. But some academics argue that pagdating sa GHG emission inventory, we should not include biomass kasi they're considered as carbon neutral. Ang argument nila, the same amount of carbon dioxide emitted during the decomposition of the biomass is the same amount of carbon dioxide they absorb during their growth sa plant or trees. Kumbaga, they are not considered as anthropogenic emissions. Those are parang two arguments regarding doon sa calculating emissions from biomass or forestry products. So, I think it depends on your perspective if you would include it. Kasi I did my thesis before, or my master's thesis before, and one of my prof suggested that I should not include biomass emission in my total GHG emissions inventory kasi they are not technically considered as anthropogenic emissions. Kumbaga, yung CO2 kasi yung kina-calculate lang natin are anthropogenic emissions, meaning CO2 released right now, pero they are the same carbon na absorbed several years ago during the prehistoric times pa. So parang that's the argument. That's how I understand pagdating po sa GHG emission inventory from forest products or biomass.
Yeah. So, did that answer your question, Mila?
Yan,
Yeah.
okay naman daw.
No, actually, my question has something to do with whether the blue carbon is being considered now as part of the, yun nga, kasi the CCC, with the help of DA, I think, or they're adding now the forestry sector, the CCC. So I'm wondering if they are including the mangroves and the seagrasses o talagang yung our tropical forest na yung kino-consider. So kasi I think DENR in one of the speeches of Tony Loizaga, DNR Secretary Tony Loizaga, she said that they're really focusing now on blue carbon. So, inventory ng mangroves and all of this stuff. And I think to some extent, I heard she said with regards to GHG emission. So, I'm thinking whether Ma'am Garchitorena knows something about and has any updates on that
I think
part.
she's no
Okay,
longer
thank you.
she's no longer here though. I don't see her. And she did say that she's
Yes,
not
she's,
forester. She cannot answer
I think
about
she left because she has to catch up flight, Edwina Gatchitorena.
I think po,
Yeah.
I can share some insight. Siguro po ang mini-measure is not the emissions of the mangrove, but the carbon sequestration potential. Kasi another way of measuring CO2 emission is actually the amount of land, of forest land na needed to absorb a certain amount of CO2. So baka iyon po ang standards based on how I understand it. Na kasi ang standard lang po talaga na meron tayo is kumbaga, you have these GHG emissions and the way to offset your emission is yung land area natin, forest land, kasi sila yung considered as carbon sink. Baka at this time, you're also considering mangroves as potential carbon sink that can absorb more amount of GHG
Yes, oo.
emissions to siguro it's to achieve carbon neutrality. So that's how I understand
Yes.
this.
Kasi sa calculation ngayon, ang kino-consider lang as sa carbon sinks yung yung
Yeah,
number of trees planted, and it's just a standard, not even yung kunyari kung gaano nakatanda, etc. So I'm
wala.
really working on it. Thank you, William.
Okay, this is
Yeah, I would also like to inform pala everyone that Ma'am Gatchitorena informed earlier that she will be leaving because she has to catch a flight. So
oh
kaya
yeah,
umalis siya, yeah.
okay.
So any other questions? Some of our participants are requesting, by the way,
But she also naman said
for the evaluation to be sent to their email. So, Babette, and please take note of the request.
okay, no more questions ba? Comments? Reactions? Oh, Tessa is raising her hand.
Yeah,
Go
Tessa?
ahead, Miss Tessa.
yeah, I have a question for Professor William Adan. Yung yung calculator niyo ba automatic ang ang parang calculate siya? Or it has to be manual?
Sa ngayon po, ang ginagamit namin actively ay Excel file lang actually. So mag-input ka ng data, then naka-input lang po din yung formula, then milalabas na value. So, but yung meron kami is pang entity level, meaning per business, per building po yun.
Makakakain pa tayo.
So ano ang lumabas na na carbon hotspot sa inyong school, and what policies came up?
Actually, most electricity consumption emissions are coming from air conditioning units, which is understandable. In most buildings naman, even in the world, di ba, 40% of our electricity are spent on cooling. So, ang immediate policy actually, para walang problem, is solarization. So, sa universities ngayon, kami sa campus, nag-install ng solar panels para kahit gaano kalaki ba yung konsumo ng kuryente, there's no worry about GHG emission kasi it's coming from renewable energy naman. Our initiative right now. Even our lighting, we're replacing it with solar-powered lighting in mga streets namin sa campus. Para we don't no longer rely sa electricity or fossil fuel for electricity.
I suppose that's also the same in corporations, no? Companies, air conditioning and lighting. Siguro, no?
O, kasi mas
Uh,
umiinit eh. So,
Mr.
mas
Martinez.
dumadami yung gumagamit. Okay, someone would like to ask the question?
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Martinez.
go ahead po.
Nagche-change ba ang formula nyo or pag may nagko-compute ng mga emissions? Or
Actually po,
may
yeah,
upgrading na ginagawa?
ina-update po namin siya first based din po sa IPCC standards. Kasi minsan, naglalabas din sila ng new formula or new emission factor. And also, nagbabago yung electricity mix natin sa Pilipinas or sa grid. Example, Luzon grid, Visayas grid, nag-iba yung mix. For example, at this time, 60% coal tayo. Baka next year, 70% na. So, it will affect the amount of emission natin depende sa use of electricity.
So yung program nyo sa Excel, meron siyang option, naka-open siya to change the percentage, mga ganon.
Yes, pwede po.
Okay. Kala ko naka-fix yung program dun sa Excel eh. Sa paano kung may mga changes nga, di ba? So, hindi pala siya fix.
Hindi po.
Tessa again. Tessa, go ahead.
Ako naman natutuwa ako kay Ella. Yung ang ganda ng kanyang presentation, no? And I was just thinking, talagang inano niya yung to work in the sa ating DENR. Talagang yun ba ang instead of going to private companies, was that really her personal choice to be able to contribute something sa ating bansa para kasi I think that's what we need now eh. Mga leaders who have this environmental paradigm o talagang maganda ang development paradigm nila. So, I wonder if talagang sinadya niya to work in the government or open ba din to work in a private company?
So, Rafaela, are you around to answer that question? Where
But
is Rafaela?
But anyway, if she stays in DNR, I think I would be happy.
You can ask her there.
Yeah, we need people like her in DNR.
DNR should send her to the 5th PS kasi gusto niya daw mag-attend.
Oo.
I think she will attend. I just want to say na for students, 10 to 20 students per school will have their registration waived together with 2 faculty. And then members of GC can send 3 representatives for free also, yung registration. And then early bird people will have discounts. So I hope that this encourages you to come. Thank you.
Yeah. Meaningful pasyal.
Yeah, Dan, you encourage your students to come.
Sure po. I invited already po. Here to them.
Okay, are we okay? No more questions? No more
I think we're all done with the questions and everything.
yeah,
No
it's about
questions as well
okay
in
lang
the
naman tayo sa
online.
time. Oh, another from you, Professor.
Okay daw. Thumbs up. Thumbs up.
We're
Yeah.
all done.
So now let's invite them, Marie, to
So,
the Philippine
yes, we can.
Environmental Summit.
So,
Let's close the Q&A portion,
Q&A
Miss Marie.
portion, open forum, we can close it now.
Pwede bang
Okay.
mag-promote?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes,
promote.
this is the time to
Is it
promote. What-
okay to test run? Kasi we have come up with a web tool for our Ako Ang Bukas household calculator. And we would like to test it if we can request the attendees of this Kamayan Forum to try it out and accomplish it. Okay lang ba?
Paano ang gagawin?
Oo.
Please
How
tell
do
us what
you
to
do
do.
that?
Si Maribeth can show the link and the QR code, and then the attendees may do it at home.
Mm.
Ganun na lang. Para lang makita rin namin to whether it's working from their end or what. We're
So,
test.
will we be doing it right now, or is it an
Okay.
assignment, take-home assignment?
It's a take-home assignment. If they go to the link, they will see there a choice for whether it is event, and then they have to choose the event Kamayan January 2025. That means they attended the Kamayan 2025, and then they will just have to answer the questions. It's user friendly actually.
So
So
yan,
we would like
I
to
think pa-post, Maribeth, if you can post the link on the chat box or
chat
show it
box. Okay, thank
on the
you.
screen.
Mm-mm.
For those who are worrying about how to copy it, I think you can screenshot the chat box or copy the link being provided.
You
Because
are
some other participants are asking it to be emailed, so please take note. Kasi it's sometimes it's very hard to directly email it.
Okay.
Maribeth?
Na-post na, Maribeth?
Andiyan na ba?
For those who want to join Green Convergence, membership is open. Just
There's
let us know.
a request pala from TSU and by Environmental Society. May we kindly request for assistance in preparing a letter to be sent to our university president regarding the upcoming environmental summit. This is from Tarlac State University Environmental Science Society students. So
Okay.
patulong daw po for the letter so that they could help it out for them to attend the summit.
Yes, for the 20, yung sinabi ni Dr. Galang kanina. How many students plus 2 professors?
20,
Tarlac
I think.
State? Tarlac
Tama ba?
State?
20, yeah.
Tarlac State University?
Yes.
Okay.
A letter daw. They need help with preparing the letter to be sent to the university president. I think also Batangas State, Bulacan State University, so yung mga, para may mga yan nandito. Batangas State University would also like to attend, hope. Tama ba? Yes, go ahead. Joel Cornejo.
Yes po. Ay, sir, okay lang po ba?
Go ahead.
Wala mo. Ay, sir. Hello po, from Batangas State University po. And
Yes po.
we are planned to to celebrate the environmental summit here.
In your place.
Naghang siya.
So the internet is problematic sometimes. So the link to the household calculator is posted at the chat box, and there's also a QR code, so you can copy it and post it on your Chrome browsers or on a notepad, so you can do it later on. You can also take a screenshot.
Right. But now we have to close. We have to
Yes.
proceed to our closing segment because we have no more time. Go ahead.
So before we introduce our closing remarks, so
David.
yes, Marie.
Yes,
We would like to
this is
remind
our-
you that for those who would like to be a member of Green Convergence, so you just visit our the website of Green Convergence. It's greenconvergencephil.com, or you can also visit our Facebook page, Green Convergence. Just send a message and we will be sending the membership form to you, or you could also check out the chat box. I think it would also be posted on the chat box. For Ako Ang Bukas, all you have to do, I think we have to work on the link for Ako Ang Bukas so that it would be easier. But when you search it on Google, you type Ako Ang Bukas, it goes to the Green Convergence Ako Ang Bukas. So talagang number 1 na tayo kahit
Okay,
Google
time to
search lang.
introduce our closing
Okay, now
speaker.
closing remarks. Because I think Marie, the invitation, GC membership and PES promo is before the closing remarks. That's why I
Yes,
said
that's right.
those invitation.
Yeah.
Let's call on our for the closing remarks, Sheila Castillo, Assistant Secretary of Green Convergence.
Good afternoon, everyone. What an inspiring and thought-provoking forum this has been. First off, let me thank all our speakers for generously sharing their knowledge and passion. Doc Nina Galang set the tone by giving us a clear picture of what to expect at the Fifth Philippine Environment Summit. This year, it's themed Ako ang Bukas, Quantum Leap to Climate Neutrality. This theme reminds us that we hold the power to shape the future, and today's discussions highlighted steps, baby steps, we can take to make that leap. Miss Angeline reminded us that healing the soil isn't just about gardening. It's about biodiversity and food security, even in urban spaces. And speaking of interconnected solutions, Miss Edwina highlighted the significance of blue carbon ecosystems, giving us a preview of how conservation and restoration efforts can play a crucial role in tackling climate change. Prof. Dan William then shifted our focus to energy and emissions, proving that even academic institutions like Bataan Peninsula State U can lead by example in reducing carbon footprints. And finally, Ms. Rafa brought it all home with a participant's perspective, showing us the importance and joy of being engaged and taking part in events like this. The Philippine Environment Summit isn't just about exchanging ideas. It's about igniting action, whether we're addressing greenhouse gas emissions, food systems, or biodiversity. You know, every small step we take creates ripples that can grow into something much bigger. Let's bring today's insights into our homes, our workplaces, and our communities as we all take part in this quantum leap. Before we wrap up, I'd like to remind everyone to visit the Green Convergence Facebook page for pre-registration guidelines for the summit. You might be also interested in participating as exhibitors or even becoming a partner. So just reach out to Green Convergence for all the details. Once again, thank you and congratulations to the Kamayan Organizing Committee, to our speakers, and to all of you for your participation. Together, we can make real progress for a planet in grief because every effort really truly counts. Okay, so have a great afternoon, have a great rest of the day, everyone, and let's all halabira to the summit next month.
Thank you very much, Michela Castillo.
Thank
Okay.
you.
David, time to say goodbye.
And maraming salamat everyone, and thank you for joining this episode of Kamayan Forum this January, the first for 2025, and hopefully we hope that everyone, kung kaya po ninyo, please attend and be part of the 5th Philippine Environmental Summit. I think this summit is very critical kasi ito na yung panawagan natin. Ako ang bukas, tayo ang bukas, and it's time that we join our hands together and we commit to doing something for the betterment of our planet. Yun. Salamat.
Yes, the Philippine Environment Summit is a shot in the arm. That we very much need kasi kung minsan we get discouraged, we get hopeless, we feel desperate about our situation. But when you attend the Philippine Environment Summit, you get a shot in the arm, you get inspiration, you get hope, and concrete. You see concretely that things can be done. That we can, do this. We can save ourselves. Kasi you know, this is our antidote against despair and hopelessness, no? Kasi despair and hopelessness cause paralysis. So when you feel despair and hopelessness, you don't want to move anymore. You just wait for the for the worst to come, no? So please try to lift everyone up, attend the Philippine Environment Summit. You won't regret it. As Rafaela said, she had a really great time. And, I envy you because this is the first summit I will not be able to attend. And I'm really going to miss going to the summit. So, thank you for attending this session. Thank you to our participants, our for coming here, especially our regular Kamayan regulars. And may I remind you again that next month, we're going to hold our Kamayan on the fourth Friday because the third Friday is with Philippine Environment Summit time pa. So that's February 28th, the month of hearts. So, bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great
Thank you. God
weekend.
Have a
bless.
nice weekend,
Ingat po kayo.
everyone.
God bless you. Bye-bye.
You, bye.